Hi everyone, so I want to welcome you to my channel. I just want to let you know that I will not be showing my face in this video only because I am still recovering. I am super pale. I don't have the energy. I'm just, I just want to get my message out, and then eventually I'll have myself on camera. But what I want to start with is I am 5 weeks post-op for my gastric sleeve revision, and also I had a hiatal hernia repair. I also had a stent placed inside of my stomach, and I'm going to get into that. So let's just rewind to February 2020, right before COVID hit. I was one of the last patients to get elective surgery. So I was at 200 pounds in February 2020. By Memorial Day weekend, like the mid-May, 3 months later, I went down to 145. So I did lose a lot of weight, and I was looking healthy. I'm 5'2". So I've always wanted to maintain my weight between 130 and 135. And for all of you that have done it or is thinking about doing it, there's different stages that your body go through. So in the beginning, it's tough because you can only drink liquids, clear liquids, and then eventually you move into different phases. But in the beginning, even little drops it just gets you full, and you don't have space for anything else. So they want you to drink all these protein shakes, and then they want you to drink 64 ounces of water, and to me, it's just not possible. Maybe some people could do it. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I've always struggled with that, even now. So getting back to that, my lowest was 116 pounds, 116. I went down to like a 000. Didn't even know that existed. So I am a Latina. People were asking me if I was sick, and the reason why I say that is because I was always not fat, but I was thick. And, I had meat in the right places. So when people see me that thin, they just assume that I was sick and whatever. So I eventually gained weight again, which most people do. So you get into your real skinny stage where you go to your lowest, and then you eventually go back to where maybe your body should be, or wherever your weight takes you to, and you're there. It's a plateau. So my plateau was at 135, and I was perfect with that, and I maintained that throughout the 4 years. So fast forward to August 2024. Oh, and just to backtrack, so when I did the surgery, like I said, I had no complications. I followed the phases that they gave me as far as what to eat. Like, I followed it to a T. There was a little guide on what to eat for morning, breakfast, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I followed it to a T. So I did well. I just struggle with the intake of the water. I personally don't like Crystal Light and all those meals and all those fake flavored chemicals that they want you to put in your water. I can drink water. I'm okay with drinking water. So before my surgery, I used to drink seltzer soda, and I did the flavor, but I could drink plain seltzer. And then once I had the surgery, I haven't drank soda in over 4.5 years. So and I was never a juice drinker. My thing is sweet tea. I love sweet tea. So now fast forward to August 2024, almost 4.5 years later, I started getting a lot of acid reflux. So I went back to my doctor, and I still kept my post-op appointments with him and everything. So he was like, we have to do endoscopy to make sure there's no ulcers or nothing's going on. So I did that. Come to find out, I had a hiatal hernia. So you can just look that up. It was like a hernia on top of my stomach. I didn't feel any discomfort, any pain. So he was like, hey, while we're in there, you qualified to have your revision done because your sleeve stretched a little bit. So I want to say that that was a bad and a poor decision on my part, where I was like, oh yeah, just go for it. You're going to be in there. No, I want to say after a year, I did exercise when I first did the surgery in 2020. It was like a year and a half. Then I started exercising because I didn't have loose skin. That was one thing about me. I didn't have anything hanging, but I did go to the gym maybe within, like I said, a year and a half. And I did tone up, and I was going to the gym every day. I was so motivated because I was like, okay, I want to build muscle. Then I started seeing the scale go up, and people were like, no, that's okay because it's muscle. And I was okay with it because I was toned and I was healthy. So then, like I said, after that happened, I gained I went up to like 160. I gained about, let's say, 30 pounds. And on my behalf, I should have just said, you know what, let's just do the hiatal repair and I'll go to the gym and figure this out. So I was even looking online to see if I could go somewhere to go get like a not tummy tuck, because I wasn't that big in my stomach, lipo and all this. I looked at Sonobella, all this, and I was like, you know what, let me save my money and do the surgery because my insurance is going to pay for it and I don't have to come out of pocket. So I went with that option, which to me, I now realize that I need like psychiatric help. And the reason why I say that is because I'm 5'2", I was 160, I was okay with my weight. I was maybe a size 6 in jeans, which some people may think that's great. I guess because I was a size 2 and I was a 4 and I was smaller, I wanted to stay that weight. But that just didn't work out for me because what I started doing was falling into my bad habits. I started eating late at night. I started eating nachos and Doritos and cookies and all this crap at night. And I was like, oh, I'm only going to do it tonight. And when you came to see, it was like 2-3 weeks. And then I started eating stevia at night. So I went back to my old habits. I should have stayed in a support group where, where people can motivate you to go back on track. I didn't do that. So therefore, I was like, okay, let's go for it. So now fast forward to October of 2024. So 2 months after I did the endoscopy, my surgeon was like, okay, you're good to go. We're going to set you up. We're going to do it, whatever. I was like, perfect. Now, mind you, that was the worst time. If you're ever going to do surgery, do not do it before the holidays. Don't do it before any vacations. So my surgery was October 21st, 2024. I had a cruise the following 2 weeks later. I booked that cruise way in advance because I thought I did well the first time. I would be fine. No, I had so many major complications that to this day I regret doing the revision, and I regret doing not so much the hiatal hernia, but I just feel like I should have done that, and that's it. So I took the easy way out. So what I just want to tell you is, if I could go back into time, I would not do the revision. Absolutely not. I would try my best to get back into going to the gym and just being healthy. I'm going to tell you why. Because 4 years later, I finally was able to eat a slice of pizza. Like before, I would have maybe 2-3 bites and that was it. Or maybe half of a slice. Or I would get down to the middle and that's it. So I got to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, I could eat a slice of pizza. Where before the surgery, I was eating like 3 slices of pizza and a large sweet tea, like off the rip. And later on, still be hungry. So that was my eating habits. So then anyway, let's just get back to this when I did the surgery. So I went in, got admitted. I was supposed to be released the next day. So I got released the next day. They were going to actually keep me another day if I wasn't, matter of fact, they did. They kept me 2 days. And they did that in the beginning when I did it 4 years ago because I couldn't drink 4 ounces of fluid in an hour. It was impossible. They give me these little cups in the hospital and it's a 1 ounce cup. So they want you to drink one of those every 15 minutes. To me, it was just, they gave me room temperature water. For some reason, before my surgery, I've always drank room temperature, but after, I had to drink ice cold water. So I was begging them for ice chips, and I just refused to drink room temperature water. So they had to keep me because my pressure was high. They had me on IV. So that's where it all began. They finally discharged me because I was able to drink some of the liquids. Got home. I couldn't. There was no way I could drink 8 ounces a day. I couldn't drink a bottle of water. I brought the essential water as like 16.9 fluid ounces. I could not. Even now, I'm 5 weeks post-op. I cannot drink a whole 16.9 fluid ounce of water. So when I came out the hospital, I was doing okay. The week later, I rushed to myself. I was so freaking hungry because I was just having liquids. So I was like, you know what? Let me rush into, so not rush, but what I did was I started puree. So I did the butternut squash soup, and that was puree. It went down well. Then 2 days later, I ended up getting mashed potatoes. So I took a little potato, I cut it up, I mashed it up, I put some butter. Super smooth. It went down. I ate 3 baby spoons, like the bariatric spoons. And the next day, when I tell you, I was vomiting so bad that I was wretched. It was like when I threw up, when I tell you, my stomach was still healing. So I would throw up. And then just me having the thought of throwing up makes me want to throw up. If I look at the toilet, I'm throwing up. I had to throw up in my sink. Everything was just disgusting to me. My bathroom was clean. It smelled like Lysol, whatever, but I was disgustingly nauseous. So I would throw up. Now, I started throwing up a week after my surgery. I started throwing up blood. Now, there's another young lady on YouTube. She actually motivated me. She doesn't know this, but I was motivated by her videos to start my own. So she talked about how her journey was not as pleasant as most people say they are. So I just want to say that she also mentioned she was like retching, throwing up blood, and I did the same thing, but she was in the hospital throwing up. I did it a week later. So I went to the ER and I'm like, listen, I just had this surgery. I'm throwing up blood. It was brown blood. It was red. Horrible. When I tell you, disgustingly horrible. It felt like old, rotted blood. Like I was throwing up the inside of my stomach. And they were like, oh, no, that's probably because your throat. No, it was not my throat. It was my freaking stomach that was just not doing well with what happened. So then I went to the ER. I was extremely dehydrated. They gave me 2 bags of IV. Did my blood work? Okay, you're dehydrated. Gave it to me. I felt rejuvenated. Went back home. I couldn't, again, we went back to square one. I was like, okay, let me do Jello. Then I started drinking water. I couldn't, for the life of me, drink nothing. It just couldn't. The protein shakes, forget about it. That disgusting, thick feeling in my throat, in my mouth, made me want to vomit even more. So then I'm all day without drinking, without eating, and now I'm just throwing up, back to throwing up blood, chunks. And now this time I took a picture of it. Chunks of blood. There was like red and it was brown. It was gross. So I called my surgeon. Listen, I'm vomiting again. Oh, no, don't worry. Don't go to the ER. This was like on a Thursday. Don't go to the ER, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, so what am I to do? He's like, oh, well, just try to. He doesn't understand that I was telling him I could not drink. And if I do, it came up. So now I tried room temperature. I tried ice cold water. I just couldn't. So again, I go back to the hospital. Oh, you're severely dehydrated. They gave me 4 bags of IV. So now I get admitted to the hospital. They let me out the next day because they're like, oh, yeah, no, your vitals are good. And yeah, because you're pumping all this freaking saline inside of me. But when I get home, they're not addressing the elephant in the freaking room. So now when I get home, I'm back to square one. Like, unless they want to send me home with the freaking IV, I'm good. So now I'm back to square one. I'm vomiting again. Now on Halloween, this is 10 days after my surgery. I was opening the door for these kids, giving them candy, running to the bathroom, vomiting, going back to the door. Like, it was a nightmare on Halloween. Then I was so exhausted. By the time 8, 9 o'clock at night came, I was so exhausted that it was just bad. I just wanted to sleep, but I couldn't because I kept retching and just being nauseous. So then I went to the ER again that night. And when I got into the emergency room, they saw me. They had to put me in a wheelchair. I was so weak. I said, listen, you cannot send me home. Stop sending me home. You have to find out what's going on. So they kept me. They checked. Okay, we're going to do a CAT scan to make sure there's no leaks. Your stitches didn't pop or anything and whatever. So they did a CAT scan. Everything was going down fine. They had me drink some liquid and it showed in the CAT scan there was no leaks. Everything was perfectly going down well. Then they kept saying, no, it's probably your throat, because your throat had, when they do the thing with the camera. No, because I've had an endoscopy before and that didn't happen. So then they let me out again. Now, the day before I was supposed to travel, I was supposed to leave on a Sunday. Saturday night, my husband, I called the doctor. It was 6 o'clock at night. I vomited straight 4 hours till 10. I called the doctor. I said, listen, I'm vomiting. It's so bad. Even when I rinse out my mouth, the little drop that goes in the back of my mouth makes me vomit. Any little thing that goes down, it comes up. Like if anything touches my stomach, it just came up. Now, mind you, my stomach is on fire. I felt like I did 1,000 crunches. I felt like somebody was stabbing me in my stomach at the same time. My stomach felt like it was pulsating. And I kept telling him, my stomach is on fire, like it's burning me. So now he's like, okay, just try to sleep. No, my husband's like, no, we're going to the emergency room now. So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I go in there. They reel me in right away. They were like, I was in bad shape. That day, within like 2-3 hours, they had me on the admitted side saying that you're going to be admitted. So they admitted me overnight. That was on a Saturday. Sunday, plans went without me as far as travel, because I wasn't going to stop my family from traveling. So Sunday came. The doctor, my surgeon, came to the hospital and was like, listen, we're going to do an emergency endoscopy tomorrow. We're going to have to put a stent in your stomach. So a stent is something that they put in there. He compared it to a Chinese finger trap. So it's something that goes in your stomach and it opens it up so you can get fluids and whatever down there. So that's what I had 3 weeks ago. So after 2 weeks of my procedure, I did bad. They put the stent in. They kept me in the hospital for another day because they wanted to make sure that I was holding on the fluids. But they didn't take off the IV. So I didn't feel like drinking. So I kept telling them, why don't you take the IV off of me so I could try to drink on my own? Because once the IV goes off and I go home, I'm back to square one. So they took off the IV. I was sipping. I was able to sip enough for them to let me go. Now, mind you, the complications were when I was getting the stent done, when I came out, it was a quick procedure. When I came out, the PA that was there said, listen, your pressure went high. Like, it was crazy in there. They had to intubate me, so this is why my throat is so scratchy. I didn't even have a voice the first few days because they had to go in there and basically clear my airways, make it wider. And I was in so much pain. I kept telling them my throat was hurting me. They were like, yeah, because we had to intubate you. And then on top of that, they had to work in there and put the stent, whatever. So I'm like, okay, it'll go away. It's been 3 freaking weeks and I'm still hoarse. I sound like if I went to a concert and lost my voice. So that was another reason why I couldn't do videos before, because I didn't have a voice. So what I did was I stood home. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I didn't speak to family. I just wanted to recover. I didn't want to hear bad news. I didn't even put the news on. I just mentally and physically had to, had to heal. So I blocked everything out and I just focused on myself. So now the frustration comes back where, okay, now I have this stent. I have to sit up. I've been sleeping sleeping for, since Halloween. I couldn't lay down because I was always vomiting. And now that I have the stent, I'm so afraid to lay down because I don't want nothing to come up. So I've been sitting up while I sleep. My procedure is next Friday to have the stent removed. So not to scare anyone, but this is just my experience that happened when I did the revision. And I just want to say that in 3 weeks, I saw that girl's video and she, like, the light bulb went off when I saw that video. I was like, wow, why didn't I think about that? So she was basically saying how she's the same way. She can't drink the protein shakes. It's too, whatever it is, it just didn't work with her. And I'm sure some people could drink the Premier. It just, for me, it didn't work. So she was saying how she was juicing and she likes the green juice and stuff. So I'm the type that I would go to Smoothie King 3 times a week and have a smoothie bowl. And I just love Smoothie King. But obviously, I went and had a Chocolate, but it doesn't have protein. It has a lot of sugar. So what I did was when I saw a video, she was juicing. She did lettuce. She did chunks of pineapple, maybe 1 strawberry, half a kiwi. You know, she put a few things in there, and she said how she was sipping on that all day, and she's getting all the nutrients from that. So the light bulb went off, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? Like, if I'm having trouble swallowing, I don't even want to drink broth. I know she was saying she was doing well with the broth. I am repulsed by broth. My husband went the other day, and he brought me chicken noodles. No, he brought me a chicken soup, and it had a piece of carrot. It had a piece of chicken. I did eat the chicken, and it went down well. I feel like since I haven't eaten anything, the back of my teeth was so sore. Like, I've just been brushing my teeth, brushing my tongue, because I've been so repulsed with the taste of protein shakes. Now, let me tell you, when I came out the hospital, I went straight to Walmart. I was on Amazon. I brought the protein H2 water, whatever. It's like a protein flavored water. I've had Gladiator here, which is 42 grams of protein, 2 scoops. Now, I tried the 2 scoops with the 4 ounces of water. I was disgusted. I love chocolate. I'm to the point where I don't even want to see nothing chocolate. I've tried Fairlife, the 30-gram protein milk, which is a lot thin. I bought 2 cases, and I went to BJ's and bought 2 cases of that. I went and I brought I even brought the liquid IV that they sell. They had like the cotton candy. They had the sherbet. I brought that, and that thing went right back to Target. I've tried the unflavored whey protein. It's freaking gross. It's like caked up powder. No matter if I put it in my water, I taste it, and I just started gagging just to taste. And then I got to start brushing my teeth, brushing my tongue. Repulsed. When I tell you, my tongue was white. I was so disgusted that I was just scraping my tongue, scope, Listerine, like goggling, and then I would get nauseous because now I'm brushing my tongue. My lips were so chapped. So invest in a good chapstick. Don't even get the scented ones. I've had coconut. I had all these different chapsticks, but it's just so gross. I can't. So what helped me was I went out and I bought sugar-free Lifesavers. After I drink, I brush, rinse, and I stick one of those things in my mouth. I suck on it for a while and I throw it out. But let me tell you how they gave me all these freaking medications when I came out. Those things were like horse pills. Who's taking that? I could barely swallow water. So I was just taking the ones that was like for anti-nausea, which goes under your tongue. And I did one that was like the antacids 2 times a day. They were tiny. So that I was able to tolerate. And I'm still doing it. But I just want to tell you that you have to do what works for you. Like, they stress you like 64 grams. Yeah, you're going to lose your hair. You know what? I've lost my hair in the beginning 4 years ago. It got thin. It took me like over almost 2 years for my hair to get back to its natural state where it was healthier. It was fuller. You know, I was wearing like weaves. I was doing whatever, clip-ons and stuff, just so, because I know I was going through that phase. But what I did buy was, this time I learned my lesson. I went and I bought the vitamin patches, and I bought the B12. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or what, but I do feel like that does help me. I'm not chewing on no chewables. I'm not doing those big, bulky, multivitamins. I'm not doing that. Them things is chalky. They're disgusting. And I've just noticed that when I read and I saw a lot of things online, they said that that's normal for you to have that bad taste. But when I tell you, it's a horrible taste in my mouth. Like, even now, I'm ready to go and rinse my mouth out. So, and this is throughout. I couldn't even rinse my mouth with my own water at home. I had to use filtered water to rinse out my mouth, whether to brush, the gargle. Sometimes just sporadically, I would go and just rinse my mouth out, run to the bathroom, rinse out, and spit out. I even went and bought an ice machine. I was so thirsty. I was crunching on ice. Like, that was the way I was getting some water in. It wasn't enough, but I was so desperate. So people that know, they know, and they can relate. So now here I am 5 weeks. Today is my second day actually doing a juice, like not a smoothie, but so I did the green juice. I did 2 ounces of spinach. For those who don't like spinach, maybe you could get it frozen. I am going to be honest, you will taste the spinach. So if spinach is not your thing, maybe just put a little bit and do the frozen spinach. But I do fresh spinach out the bag. I do 2 ounces. I'm craving citrus like you would not believe. I went out yesterday and bought 2 bags of clementines. I was sucking on those bad boys like you would not believe. Like, those things was, I didn't eat the skin part. I just sucked on them and spit it out. So I've been having a bad craving for pineapple and for citrus. I know you're not supposed to drink citrus yet or eat citrus, but tangerines is doing well for me, so I'm going to do it. And they did hydrate me. I did one and bought watermelon. I sucked on that. I did watermelon juice. It just, I even put a little bit of sugar, but it just didn't work well with me. I've done apple juice. Like, I got my juicer out, took out everything it was just silky, smooth pineapple, apple juice. But after a while, it just got too tart for me. Then I had that bad taste in the back of my mouth, so I stopped that. So what I did was, my second day, I did 2 ounces of spinach. I did 3 chunks of pineapples. I did 2 chunks of mango. I did 1 strawberry, 1 whole strawberry, frozen. Everything is frozen. And then I put my Benefiber, the little powder thing to make you go to the bathroom, which I have not. I have to do suppositories to go to the bathroom. I did go on my own twice in a week, which was impressive. And yes, you will have to poop, because even though you're drinking, you still have to poop something. Just like infants, they drink milk, they're gonna poop. So, let me see. Yeah, I went and got the 4-pack of Duolox because I wasn't swallowing nothing. I'm not drinking nothing. I put that suppository, you know where. So then, that's it. I've been feeling a little bit more energized. Not that I could start cleaning my whole house because I don't have the energy, but I will say that juicing has helped me. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just telling you my journey. And when I saw that girl's video, I think her name was something, Bernie. I don't know. I'll put it in my next video. But she was spot on with how she felt. She showed her face. She was like, she even had like problems. She was getting winded. I was the same way in the beginning. I'm getting a little better now. But I will tell you that the protein, water, shakes does not work. So don't go out. If you're going to go out and have the surgery, don't go out and buy all these things, because 1, you're not going to drink all of that. 2, find out what works for you. If the protein shakes, find different I tried the OWN. I tried the Fairlife. I did every protein. I did vanilla, I did unflavored, I did chocolate. I'm repulsed. I just cannot. And the vitamin waters, I did vitamin water 0. I could tolerate the yellow one, but all the other ones, I used to drink it before. I can't. Coconut water helps me tremendously. So I go to Aldi's. I do get the coconut water. They're low in sugar. And there's another supermarket I go to, and it's called XO Coconut. It comes from Vietnam, and it's purely coconut water. No chemicals. It has high potassium. I felt that was helping me. So I do put that in my shake. I put the coconut water. I do the spinach, the half a kiwi. I did a slice of green apple. And, like I said, it's real. I don't like my shakes thick, my juice. So I put more coconut water. And I squeezed in a tangerine in there because I was like, oh, this is delicious. So my word of advice is, do what works for you. If you feel like you're getting your fluids in by juicing, just try it. And I'm to the point where yesterday I did eat 3 shrimps. I steamed them. So I'm trying to get my protein from that. I did have a little piece of rotisserie chicken. So I'm going to try to do like the green shake in the morning, and then eat something at lunch, and then at night I'm probably gonna do green shake. But I'm gonna do more videos. I just wanted to give you an idea of what and where I am. So I'll put in another video because this is way too long and I'm not editing. And I will provide more information. Thanks for watching the video if you did.